Last night I was disrupted briefly in my sleep, and I was able to. I've learned to watch myself start to snore a lot of the times. So that's let me know that I'm under audio surveillance, and that as soon as I start to snore, disruptions begin to occur to wake me back up, to cause me pain. And I wasn't sure what it was about. I had gone to Kroger. Um, I had posted a note about Gail Cook, but I thought it was nice and friendly. I had, um, but when at 8 a.m. this morning, or just before 8 a.m., I started hearing machine noises. And they're out there, I guess they're steam cleaning the sewers. I'm not really sure what they're doing out there, but they're getting down in the manholes, and then a whole bunch of steam is coming out. Maybe getting rid of blockages and such. And they're right outside on my block now. And they've been all over the neighborhood. And so I guess that's what it was about. There's only so much the medication's going to do. It's been helping me sleep in a cheerful and peaceful mood, even though it kind of causes a headache and a little bit of lethargy and stuff. So I moved it to the evening so that it could become like my sleeping pills. And I noticed that some of the thoughts and things that start to race in my mind, they'll start to come back late evening now. But, they're not that extreme. When I thought about doing something to AJ, I was just like, I thought instead to call the cops and go to the hospital. But, most of the stuff that I'm thinking is pretty accurate, pretty on track. It's just excessive and extreme. It's not that I'm thinking about anything too weird. It's just that I'm thinking too much. And right now, that's not helpful. So, and it was only because I was thinking about suicide, and then I was thinking, I had this like impulse in my gut. But see, it's because of my meditation that I recognize that that is something that I might act on. That if not in the circumstances that I was in there, but I had seen circumstances get more stressful, and when things are stressful, I was having thoughts that I hadn't had in 35 years, and if circumstances went back to how they were 35 years ago, I might have done these things. But how circumstances have been in the past 35 years, I wouldn't do those things. So I decided I need at least a happy pill and something like that, and to try to get through this, try to use the accumulation of I haven't been here in 10 years, I haven't ever been arrested, that kind of stuff, to try to get an appropriate pill that just makes me a little more cheerful, a little happier, a little bit less worried. And I ended up getting something that's a little bit like marijuana, but they said they weren't going to give me that unless I also took a antipsychotic, which I'm cutting in half because I need to wake up in the morning. And the nurse broke him in half. So gave me both halves, and I took both halves, but I figured that was better than, because the side effects were too extreme. And so I thought, well, let's try half. Because when he gave me the 5 milligram dose, I was like, this is great. This is working. I feel good. But you're going to give me double this, and I'm going to feel like poop. But you can't break them in half exactly, so it keeps your system guessing a little bit. Anyway, I gotta call my doctor on Monday and talk about where we're gonna send my refill, because I'm not seeing the general practitioner until October, and Centerstone didn't work out. They weren't going to give me appointments. They were just going to say, we want to see you sitting in the waiting room 3 days a week. You could just hang out here and sit in the waiting room 3 days a week. And I'm like, no. Because they got the downstairs area where you could play games and stuff like that, and then they'll come find you. But so anyway, yeah. So I've had this opportunity, though, to watch my thought process. I learned how to look at my thoughts in a different way. It was probably 77 or so, 77 or 78. I think it was, I can't remember. It was probably 78 when they moved the mirrors in the bathroom. And they would have done that, having interrogated me about images. Maybe I talked in my sleep. So I went through my Bond initiation around that time. And I think Tenzin Wangyal has that Tonka behind him when he does his from home talks, because my guru told him that, who's also one of his teachers, that it would be beneficial for him to do that. I don't know if there's an age cutoff, because there's a critical period to learning to do things in a certain way, but I think a lot of people come to this later. And I know that my son is, I have to do a more Buddhist expression of this. There's things that they're not going to teach a woman. The difference is, I was often pregnant, usually with a boy, when I was going through different initiations. Not always. Sometimes I was shaving my head just a few years ago. And still, let's see where we at the last time I shaved my head. But it was just a couple years ago, I think, just about 2 years ago. Year and a half, maybe. So anyway, I'd say it's been 2. Anyway, my son is better endowed financially and might be reaching out. The Bond doesn't have the same color restrictions as Buddhism, and my son, being a male kind of person, very understanding of people's thought processes and the need to keep hope alive and so forth, would be probably a very interesting person to talk to. If he's, pretty easy to find this individual, and that might have some help, because I'm praying to Kshitigarbha that we encounter one another. But I don't want to pray to spend more time with the dead, but I don't want to lose my connection with my guru. And this morning, his most celibate self was actually his most monogamous self. He had an absolute crush on me, and we did some light canoodling. You understand that using these abilities to think about things, it replaces it helps you understand that this world is um, um, not the ultimate world. That what we have in this world is never what we want it to be. And we have to balance between thinking about how we're going to go further and where we actually are right now. But being able to separate oneself from one's thoughts is not the cause of insanity, it's the cure for insanity. If it wasn't for that ability, I would be completely institutionalized.